Well, why don't we start at the very end instead of at the beginning? Tell me about how you learned that Bruce McArthur was arrested.
I think I saw it on social media. There was probably a Windsor Star clip or a Toronto Star, CBC news flash that because of the investigation of the alleged serial killers previously to that. And I looked at it and I thought, Bruce McArthur, it's not a common name, but I guess it turns out to be a fairly common name. Janice, my wife, had said, oh, it's not our Bruce, because we only knew Bruce Wayne McArthur. And we looked at the paper. I looked at the paper and I thought, yeah, it's Bruce. Same hairline, same face, same smile.
What made you think it wasn't going to be him?
Who I would never have, no, like I've said before, never would have thought Bruce was capable. I don't know anybody that would be capable of being a serial killer or a killer, period. So Bruce was just a gentle, quiet, affable, good sense of humor kind of guy. Just showed up at work every day when I was with him at Eaton's, smile on his face every day, relaxed, nice guy, helpful. Who would have thought of it?
So you and your wife see him, and you realize that it is him once you see the picture.
Yeah.
Did you go through like any kind of? Did you have doubts even then that maybe?
Well, I guess initially, yeah, until it was confirmed on the news that when we saw it on television and on the evening news, I thought, yeah, for sure, it's our Bruce, and the Bruce McArthur we knew. And then you start to look on social media, and everybody who knew Bruce had exactly the same reaction. And then Janice noticed that his wife, or that they were in Oshawa, and she remembers that they were in Oshawa because we exchanged Christmas cards for a few years with them. And that was it. We realized it was the same Bruce. She looked him up in the phone book, or a little phone directory that we keep for names and addresses of people we exchanged Christmas cards with. And we put two and two together, and it was our Bruce.
So tell me, when did you first meet Bruce?
So it's 1975 and 1976 when I first met Bruce, when I started working at Eaton's.
Were you working there first, or like did he join you, or?
No, he was already in the office. I worked at a place called the company merchandise office, which was on I think it was the 10th floor at Downey's Lane, which Downey's Lane, the building there, was torn down to make way for the new Eaton Center as part of that whole development. And that's where Bruce was. Bruce was working for a gentleman who I think is now long passed. And he was an assistant, did the clerical work for this gentleman, and was in the department, and helpful, nice, friendly.
And as this gentleman's assistant, then he would have contact with a lot of staff?
Well, we were all in one department. It was those old days we had cubicles. Mm-hmm. So everybody was in and out of everybody else's cubicle, and we all worked together exchanging information, whether it was on, you were working for the catalog or you were working for retail. You were always interchanging paperwork and ideas and meeting the same suppliers. So that's...
What kind of ideas would you be exchanging? Like, are you trying to figure out what to order? Like what merchandise?
Yes, yeah. We would work with suppliers, and we would know what was coming up for the coming year, and what you would buy for the catalog, what you would look at, the suppliers you would deal with, the suppliers you would visit, to know the merchandise that was in style and in fashion. And so everybody worked together.
And Bruce was well liked.
Yeah, everybody liked Bruce. Everyone liked Bruce. I can't think of anybody who ever said anything against anybody there, really. But Bruce was always jolly, always fresh, always had a smile. He's like a guy that was born with a smile on his face. Just very jovial, very nice, very respectful, well mannered.
Did you see any like flashes of temper? Or?
Not a thing. Never saw him lose his temper. Never saw him angry. He might have, like we all do, say, "Oh God, look at that," or "Oh, did you see that?" No, never saw anything. No flashes of temper, no anger, no, nothing.
And was it the kind of group, like some work groups are really close and...
Yeah, I would say it was a pretty close work group. Yeah, because we were in the same area all day long. Yeah.
Did you ever do any of those things like go out for lunch or...
Not with Bruce, no.
Drinks
I
after work?
may have done, I really don't remember. Back in the day, Eaton's, the Young Street was closed off. I can't remember what year that was, maybe 76, when it became a pedestrian walkway. And we may have stood out there in the summertime, watching girls go by, or as we did in those days. And, but no, never, didn't really socialize with Bruce. No, we didn't socialize with anybody, I don't think, in that department, really. So you're with them all day.
Do you know where he was living at the time?
I honestly don't recall. I don't think he was commuting in from Oshawa for some reason. But I really have no idea. I have no recollection of that. I mean, we weren't particularly close. He was just a guy that worked in the department that we knew. I don't know where anybody lived, I don't think, except maybe my boss and one other person. He just knew they lived in the area.
Now, that area at the time was kind of the hub of what would then move but become the sort of gay village on Church Street. But at the time, all of the gay activity was the bars and the social scenes were all sort of right around there on Yonge Street.
Yeah, they were quite with the St. Charles up at College, and I think there was a steam bath on around Bay and Dundas near the bus terminal. But it was very quiet. You didn't really see a lot of gay activity, or no. You knew people who were gay, and that was it. Especially in the fashion industry, they tend to, theater and fashion industry. But there was no overt displays of gayness, homosexuality anywhere. I don't think in the area. It wasn't until we came back from England that, when we visited and knew of the gay village. But otherwise, it was still kind of underground even in those days.
Who left first?
I left first because I left Eaton's and went to work with a supplier, and then I worked at Tip Top Tailors. Actually, I was back to Eaton's for a while too. But then I left to go to England in 1978. I was offered a job.
Did you stay in touch with Bruce? Were you...
People, everybody knows it was unusual for somebody to go to be called up by another company to go and work overseas in those days. It's very common now because of the global community that we live in. And you kept in touch with people, and it was the same circle of people, whether it was Tip Top or whether it was Eaton's or what. Everybody knew everybody else basically because people moved around from company to company as well. And I don't know whether Bruce called or whether he wrote, but we had a lot of visitors. A lot of people came through. I even had an old girlfriend and her husband and daughter called one night from the tube station. They were looking to stay over. They knew we were in London. We must have done Christmas cards or something. But Bruce probably said he was coming to England, either wrote or called, and we said, hey, you're welcome to stay with us. Or he may have asked, I don't know, don't recall. So I picked him up at the airport and he came and stayed with us for, I think it was probably about 2 weeks, on and off, and he traveled, he went to Bath.
Now, when he came, so that would be around the...
I think probably 79 or 80, because we were living in South London and bought and renovated a house. So 79, it probably would have been 80. It was either 80 or 81. I don't recall exactly which year. More than likely 1980.
And when he came, he came with?
Came with Jan. Came with his wife. I can't remember whether that was the first time I met his wife or not. I'm not sure what year he got married in. Whether I was still in Toronto or at Newmarket at the time, but. He came with Jan, the two of them came. Nice couple.
How did they seem?
Yeah, they seemed great. Just like she was a little bit shy, quiet. Bruce was his usual, smiley, happy-go-lucky self. Very grateful, and drove them around London. In those days, it was easy to drive around London. Showed them the sights, and I can't remember, I think they went to the theater, and we didn't do a lot of social togetherness with them because I was working every day. And I remember that they went to Bath, and I think they went to York, where they took the train or rented a car, I don't recall. And then they went back to Canada, and when we came back to Canada, because I think we were exchanging Christmas cards, came to visit us once or twice in Newmarket when we came back,
And was that both of them came to visit?
yeah,
you?
both of them. I remember she was pregnant. I can't remember when the first child was born. I suppose I could look it up in one of the articles, but she was pregnant. She had borrowed a maternity dress from Janice because they were going to a party or Christmas or something, and they returned it, and that was maybe the cause of one visit. But they were, just an ordinary couple. Never any indication that there was anything between them or any arguments or anything.
So a really calm, pleasant
Just
couple.
calm, regular people who, if they were your neighbors, say great people.
So now, knowing what you know now, do you go back over?
There's no indication, none at all, none. The only thing I have is I'm not surprised that Bruce came out, and probably anybody who knew Bruce would say that. I don't want to stereotype any gay people, but if somebody had said that, Bruce is gay, I would have said, oh, okay, yeah, no problem, I could see it. That's the only kind of link I would have to his coming out, his homosexuality. But he was a slight guy. You'd never imagine him, being strong enough to do, or nasty enough to do anything. It's just, I still can't believe it. I mean, I'm obviously reading the reports in the paper and social media, but it's still hard to believe.
You're not the only person who said that.
I think everybody said that, except I've read about a couple of people who found him overly aggressive in certain circumstances, sexually and when they were dating, but no indication at all, nothing. He was, when he was in our house in England, calm, collected, relaxed. Yeah, it's just, I'm still stunned. I'm sure, everybody says the same thing.
So after that, I guess the normal course of a relationship like yours is that what did you have after that with Bruce?
Probably the last time we saw Bruce was after he came back from England. I'm guessing, 35 years ago. He probably popped up to see us in Newmarket once or twice. I went back I was in the fashion industry in Toronto, but I don't think I ever ran across him.
When his marriage broke up, which was 98, around then, did you know about his marriage breakup?
No, we were living in Windsor then, so no, we were, as I say, the last time we had any touch or knowledge of Bruce would have been about 35 years ago. We had no reason to keep in touch. It's not like we were close friends or anything. Acquaintances. He was a nice guy. And that was it.
What happened when you found out about his arrest?
We just stunned. Just couldn't believe it. It's you just don't believe things. I looked at the paper, and first of all, we thought it can't be Bruce McArthur that we knew. He's not that kind of guy. And then I saw the picture. His hairline is very distinctive. His hairline is the same as when he was a young man. He was more slender, obviously, when he was young. Well, not obviously. But when I looked at the face, I knew it was Bruce. Just take 30 pounds off or so and darken the hair, because he had dark hair. You see, it was the same guy. So first I thought maybe there must be some kind of mistake. And then when they start finding bits of bodies in planters, you think, "Phew, more to it than meets the eye."
And what does it do for you guys? Like, do you talk about it a lot or go back over
No,
things?
just in disbelief.
Yeah.
You know, we told the kids. My eldest son was 3-4 years old, I guess, when we were living in England when Bruce was visiting, and he said, "Well, I don't remember him. I don't know him." But you know, then you just kind of lift your eyebrows and say, "Wow." We still say that. Wow.